Well, I dusted out my GoPro, but charged the battery and got it all ready with thoughts of filming this, of me making those back stands and lowering the car down off the rotisserie, but I walked out and left the GoPro in the house. So, you get the aftermath. Anyways, came out here this morning because it felt amazing and got this here sway bar mounted. This thing is a beast, super beefy. Now something I'm hoping changes once the weight's all on the car is this. It is like touching my coilover. And it is centered, and it's on both sides. And I was very careful when I welded up these brackets that they mount on measuring those. So I highly doubt it's because I didn't bring them forward enough. I really hope I don't end up having to cut them off and re-weld them. I'm hoping once the weight of the car's down, it'll get off of that. Otherwise, I will be taking a grinder probably to that back corner. It's only the very back section that's touching. Back here, I'll probably just take a damn grinder to that sucker. And that's way less work than chopping these brackets off that I welded the shit out of. Because if I'm not mistaken, I even rounded around the inside a little bit. Yeah, I fully welded the inside. You can't see, but the whole backside's welded too. I boxed these fuckers in. So yeah, those ain't coming off easy. Anyways, so I got these roller dollies. And I just ran 2x8, I think, across the middle here. And then bolted them, or wood screwed through the bottom into these 2x on the ends. And I just did the crisscross hatch design that everybody uses to make car stands. And a bunch of people trust these over those ratcheting style car stands that you can get at like AutoZone or whatever. I added a 2x6 at the top, thinking that maybe the tire would actually be resting on this, but it doesn't. It floats. All the weight's on these outer ones. So, didn't really need to do that. But anyways, these back ones here are industrialized as the fuck. These things, pretty MIG weld. I fashioned out of some 2-inch square tubing, 1.5-inch square tubing, 1.5-inch angle iron, and some round bar stock I had left over. And this is 1/8 plate maybe, or no, it's like 11 gauge, something like that. It's pretty beefy. Anyways, and it is sitting on these, obviously. I thought about adding another piece of flat stock welded underneath right here in the middle to go across to give the tire an extra patch to sit on, so it wasn't just resting on these 2.5-inch sections. Because that's all the weight's on, is just those two right now. But it's, it's angle ironed ends to give it something to catch it if it goes to roll, which I don't think it's really going anywhere. I think I could actually fit a 2x4 on one side, and it would butt it up to this where it wouldn't get any rock back and forth. Normally you'd have an e-brake on. Granted, I don't have an e-brake on this car, but it's still on the rotisserie at the moment. But the fronts kind of lock it in place too. But this gives me right at 21 inches of height lifted, and about somewhere around 12-ish when it's lowered. So the way these are designed to work is you start them lowered, jack the car up, slide them underneath the back wheel, lower the jack back down, and set them on these. Then you put your jack underneath here and lift on the bottom underneath here, so your jack plate lifts this whole piece. And you lift it until these pins, or the holes, line up to put these bolts through. And these are just 3/8 bolts. And they're just plain zinc coated. I don't think I need to go grade 8 or stainless for these. I think these zinc ones will work fine for 3/8, and these are 3/16 wall tubing, so they're pretty hefty. But yeah, I don't know if I want to keep these on the rollers the way I have them. Originally I was thinking about making a full set of these, but these took a while to make. I don't know if I really want to spend the time to make another set, even though I cut the tubing there to do it. I still have to cut the smaller tubing to do it. But they weren't the easiest to make, or the quickest to make, should I say. And then those, I really didn't have a whole lot of 2x4s left over to make another full set of those. So I might just roll half and half, but I might take those roller dollies off and just make another 2 more stacks worth of 2x to make them all just 2x4. But anyways, I'm gonna let it sit like this for probably a day or two. Make sure I trust these stands 100%. I'm pretty sure I don't have any problems with them, but just to be sure, I'm gonna leave it on rotisserie or bolt it up to it and just resting like this. But the cool thing about these roller dollies is you can still turn the tires with them. Although, I don't know how much I trust doing so. It's a little sketch. Because those roller dollies aren't full square. They're a little bit undersized, obviously. Anyways, soon it'll be off rotisserie, so rudder, this bad boy will be ready for you. The only things that I'd change on the whole deal is I'd notch these out so these bolts can go down in here a little bit. That way the car could raise a little more, because it's still got a little bit more height. Yeah, I don't have much, but they're pretty much bottomed out on this. But it would add a little bit more easier balance once you start adding weight to the car, so you can still roll it over. Because once I put the torque arm suspension, this thing wasn't easy to turn over. The other thing, what would be great is if this was on the side, and then this is actually threaded, but have this threaded on the side with a nut resting on top of it. Sorry, not threaded. Have a drilled out one of these. So drilled out one of these, welded on the side here. This passing through it, so this nut face just rests on the top of this. And have another threaded one welded down here. That way it lifts. You'd probably want to have square tubing down here though, so it kept it centered. But I put a half square here to help keep it centered, but I don't know if you could make it happen with this clamp style. This clamp style, from what I had read, was like way more secure, could hold more weight this way. I trusted it more, but the shitty thing with my balancer side design here is the weight's pushing or lifting with this. I mean, it's actually like jacking against this. These are just hollowed out, drilled out nuts to keep it from, keep it centered. But it lifts, it pushes on this to lift this thing to balance it. The better design would be to have an all thread piece here and have the rod lift the threaded piece up and the weight be on the lifting or suspension style, which is how all thread is normally used to suspend things. Because like I said, I had to do this because I don't trust that all thread not to buckle under all the weight that's on the car right now. Anyways, ramble on too much. Next stage is figuring out my brake system, and I need to get the driver's seat put in, my column put in to get it positioned where I want it height wise. And yeah, past that I don't know. I think that's it for now though. I'll figure out something next to work on this thing. I just don't know where next to really go other than spend money on new master cylinders or try to rig up my remote setup, and obviously get rid of this rotisserie and get the hood back on so I can get my fenders on. All right guys, thanks for watching.